Hi, welcome back to My Cup of TV with Jenny.
JD.
So, RM is on a new song with Tablo of Epik.
Ooh.
It's a Tablo song featuring RM with RM. I can't remember the exact wording.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. I'm happy for him. They
Apparent-
love Epik High.
Who does?
Yeah.
You do not want to see how I bop down the road when I'm listening to Born Hater. I feel like I'm the coolest person in the world.
Yeah. It's just so much better when you like the musicians behind it. You know? You're like, they're cool.
I don't know much about Epik High's journey or them as individuals. We saw them at MIK in London and they were so good. Mm-hmm. That crowd was hyped.
Yeah, very good.
But I have heard of Tablo.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we know RM.
Yeah.
So I saw something online that this song, they made it quite a while ago.
I was going to say.
They're only releasing it now.
Was it like RM on one of his days off? Like,
yeah.
What's going on? Fair
yeah.
enough.
So, excited to get into it. It's called Stop the Rain. So please remember to like, comment and subscribe in the comments. Give us your Epik High recommendations.
Yeah. Oh, that's the Epik High light stick. Middle finger.
Oh yeah.
And is their phone in the drawer?
Tablo, RM. I'm all in. But I'm losing it. Teachers call me rebel, parents call me lost, pastors call me devil, have me kneeling at the cross. Since I was a youngin', I was called names and bossed around, back to the wall so long, call me pain's poster child. Religious home times were different. They told me I was gifted, but to unwrap my mind was wicked. I was raised by guilt, raised by shame, raised by the rod. Sacrificed in the name of their God. They claimed it was love, felt like heartbreak to me. Later they say, baby, all your scars are to teach and remind you you can soar higher. What good's a bird's eye view when you're in a hunter's crossfire? Sometimes I wish never crushed in the womb, turned to dust in the womb. My scent of youth and ungodly perfume. No wonder I've always hated the adults in the room.
But maybe the tears will fall to wash the pain away. I'm trying to stop the rain. I know what it feels like.
Can't run away from the pain. I feel like I'm going insane. Bad thoughts filling up my brain. Demons swimming inside my veins.
2 seconds from falling into nothing.
Can't run away from the pain. I'm trying to stop the rain.
When I was a kid, I was convinced that I was destined for the 27 club. I'm 29, sinking in the bathtub, sipping gin, looking for another club. All the lust wasn't lust, dust into dust. Straight after stable, dashing duck to your duck. And every night I put my shadows on. But you know how much I hate my status quo. I know what you gotta know, my life is out of love. All the lessons learned already coming out of trust.
Keep my mind steady, but it's hard to readjust. Nothing stops time, but the clock will turn to rust.
Pain and rain, it's a stay the same.
Got me looking for that, it's just to entertain. Pain and rain, think I'm going insane.
Gotta turn off my phone now. Can't run away from the pain. I feel like I'm going insane. Bad thoughts filling on my brain. Things swirling inside my face.
2 seconds from falling into nothing.
Can't run away from the pain.
I'm trying to stop the rain.
I'm trying to stop the rain. I'm trying to stop the rain.
Wow.
Mm.
That felt like reading someone's diary.
It
Like
did.
really personal.
Very, but yeah. And not necessarily things... This sounds silly because you could say this for any song, but there are things in there that you'd almost be like, you wouldn't normally say that out loud, or you wouldn't necessarily admit that.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like I wish I'd died.
Yeah.
You know? And that's so sad. But to make something so sad so easy to digest with an easygoing melody almost feels wrong or uncomfortable.
I think it's because it didn't feel hopeless.
Because we know they're still here.
Yeah, but I don't know, there was something in... I don't know if it's the tones of their voices. There was something comforting in their voice that they were... Well, they are talking about feelings they had in the past that they maybe moved through.
Like therapeutic.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And that with the lyrics written on the screen, when it said I'm trying to stop the rain, it had forever rain, but forever was crossed out.
Yeah.
Almost like at the time you thought it wouldn't end, but now you're crossing out that bit because you know it will, but it's a process.
You're now reflecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even at the time, sometimes you can feel like it's bad now, but I know I'll get through it. It's just hard now.
Yeah.
I
like the animation they put with it to say that about that stop in the rain was really interesting because on the one hand, I really liked how grainy it was, as it were, like almost, not to say that's low budget, but as in it was more simple and it was a little bit more grainy and slightly retro. But where the diagram of the child was, on the one hand, it looked like it was falling because obviously but on the other hand, it wasn't that the child was falling, it was the rain was falling on them.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, you know when you see something that's like an optical illusion?
Yeah.
My head kept going back and forth between it's the child falling versus actually they could be staying still, but the rain is falling. And that was pretty trippy.
Yeah.
But either way, it went with the song because, again, it was like going back and forth between I am falling and, like, you know, am I going to land? Am I going to die? What's going to happen? Am I going to get injured? Feel the pain? And then also it's the rain falling on them.
Yeah, and it can be the concept of I'm staying the same, floating here, and everything's happening to me, around me, constant.
Yeah. And no end in sight.
And I think the use of rain as well, it's not only that kind of grey, cold, wet feeling. You can think of it as, was it like death by a thousand cuts?
Yeah.
That each drop can be a problem that on its own isn't a problem, but one after the other constantly. A bit like in 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah.
As you're going through her problems, the first one you're like, well, that isn't that big of a deal, surely, but as they pile up.
Yeah, your capacity.
Yeah.
And ironically, like a metaphor a lot of people use is like your cup. You know, if it's too overflowing, you can't deal with it. And then again, the metaphor of water, a little bit's okay, but too much will drown you, will kill you. So yeah, that's really interesting.
Because RM say the 27 Club.
Yes, trigger warning, sorry. I don't know if that is meant to be sort of an age of which you pass away or you choose to end your life.
I wonder whether it's one of those where there's been a lot of celebrities of that age, and so it became like a conspiracy theory type thing.
Yeah. And he was like, now I'm 29 and I'm looking for another club. But maybe, like you say, is that meant to be in... He does describe being in a bathtub, but maybe
and
he's
drinking
talking...
gin, looking for another club.
Yeah, so that could be, on the one hand, interpreted as in you're now looking to end it now.
Yeah.
Or it could be, as you say, is it hopeful that you're like, I'm looking for another club, as in a club, as in play on words of like a hobby and with a community, and actually I'm looking for something else.
I thought of that as I'm looking for a way out. Whereas I thought of, you know, maybe so it's like the 27 Club, I thought of that as the way out. But now I'm looking for another club, a different way out of where I am.
Yes, out of the sadness.
Yeah.
As it were. Yes, yeah.
I'd be interested to know more of Tablo's story. Because I took that to mean, and of course this isn't everyone who is religious, or all religions, but I took it to, I grew up in a very religious household where I was told this is right, this is wrong. Yeah. And it was, if I didn't fit into that, there was, like you said, guilt, and there was...
Yeah, definitely. And anything sort of that's out of the box or creative expression, where it's evil,
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, because didn't he say about having a great mind, but then if he uses stuff from that mind, it's wicked?
Yes.
So, yeah. So I'd be interested to know more about him.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in the opposite of a religious household. It was really just like, if anything, anti-religion.
Oh.
But
I grew up in religious.
Yeah. Because didn't he say something about the rod as well?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they beat your ass. Depending on what type of religion that was.
Actually,
But
it doesn't necessarily need to mean a physical rod.
No.
It can be just the punishment.
Yes, a metaphorical rod to beat you with. Yeah. That's it.
But yeah, it's a very personal. It's one of those. Like I said, you know how I said they made it a while ago and they're only releasing it now.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it's one that they made for not necessarily just therapeutic reasons, but it was an outlet, and then maybe they've decided, do we want to make that a public outlet or not? Because I'm sure there's so many songs that artists write that are just for them. It's the way of getting their feelings out that
Very
aren't
much.
necessarily to be shared with the world.
Very much so.
Which always makes me like blessed that they let us in on it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I feel that way about a lot of music that gets created, especially when it's written by them.
And I really enjoyed both voices.
Yeah,
they
were got like a higher timbre.
Yeah, that's I mean they're different enough that you know who's doing it, but they have enough similarities that it flowed really nicely. It didn't feel jolted into the next person.
No. And also that as well, it was almost like the entire song was almost like a wave of it didn't end. And that also is, I think, indicative of how they must have felt at the time, as in, where is the end?
Yeah.
I'm not seeing the way out. So even the song, the way it made me feel was almost like, oh, it's constant.
Yeah.
So
I probably feel like it wasn't much fun to watch reaction-wise from us.
We were probably quite concentrating.
Well, yeah, it's one of those...
And it's like, ooh.
It's all about what they're saying,
Yeah.
and so I need to be paying attention to that.
Yeah.
And again, though, I think the MV was great to... We said this on another video we did today. Having them in it would have taken some of our attention.
Do you know what?
And probably too personal.
I was going to say, there would be no way that you could film a video like that and it would be too exposing.
Yeah.
So I think there's that degree of separation.
Yeah.
Of having it be a character.
Well, the fact that it started in colour, didn't it? And he had the headphones on.
Yeah.
Put the record on.
Yeah.
Again, though, could that be something that for both of them, music being an outlet, is kind of I put my headphones on and I lose myself in music.
Yeah. I thought it might have been like a version of his younger self, because obviously he was in the room and it had bits of Epik High.
Yeah.
And so maybe that was like him, that was his younger self.
Yeah.
I don't know if Tablo had a cat or like, but there's probably some little Easter eggs in there just for him that he was like, this was what my bedroom looked like.
Going back and forth here, but some of the things he said in it about turn to dust like dying in the womb and stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought, is that one of those where, and I don't want to have a go at his parents here because I don't know any of the situations or if that's even what he's talking about. But you know how some people have a relationship with their parents where they kind of say, why did you even have kids? Because I don't feel like you actually want me.
Yeah. Tick box exercise.
Yeah.
Because that was what you were meant to, that's what society told us to do, yeah.
And that maybe if what I took from his verse about maybe a religious household where he didn't fit because he didn't follow the rules, he felt like he was unwanted.
Yeah. Well, because if you don't fit the image that you're meant to, and the part you're meant to play.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And I know he's talking about younger self and family and religion. It could also, I think, translate, even though I don't think this is what necessarily he means with this, but to being an idol. And the beliefs that a lot of fans seem to have about how they should behave, what they can and can't do.
Yeah.
And if they step out of that, and he says about, you know, things from his mind and then being wicked. You want them to be creative in their music, but if they sing about being in love, you're angry because you shouldn't have a relationship, you know.
Yeah. Or I know that we've had conversations about how fandoms can be a blessing, but also some can be like a little bit culty.
Yeah.
And if you dare say like a religion that goes that far, too far and whatnot, could be compared to a cult.
Yeah.
So it's almost like he talks about that as in, if you follow idols, almost like it's your religion because you're so dedicated to that. But yet, as you say, you don't look at me as a person, so how can I please you? I'm caught between this horrible place where I don't fit in.
Yeah.
Unless I meet your narrative. Yeah. It felt very heavy, but still enjoyable in the way, like you say, feel like you've been let in on something.
Yeah, it didn't end with me feeling like despair.
No, but you feel sorry for anyone that would have experienced that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, glad that they're here to tell it.
Yeah.
And maybe if anybody else hears that and makes them feel like they're not alone.
Yeah.
That's could be nice.
It's not, you know, not everyone, especially people in the public eye, life isn't perfect for them either.
No.
So.
Yeah. It was so sad. The little boy drawing was going and his wings were there and they kept being washed away. But yeah, that was it feels weird to say that was really good, but you know what I mean? It was very good.
Well, it was very, as a piece of art, very good. And I think as much as what they're saying is sad, it sounded nice to the ear as sounds, you know?
Yeah.
Like if it was in Korean and I didn't know what they were saying, I'd be like, oh, it just sounds...
We wouldn't connect with it as much, so I do appreciate that it was in English, so we could
No, but I mean,
it.
you could, if you didn't know what it was about, you might be like, oh, I'll get a bit of a sad vibe, but it sounds good to the ear.
Yeah, it's like soft, it's not harsh or anything. And that, I think, is why it feels even more...
Vulnerable?
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm glad it's been created. It's out there. We got to listen to it.
Okay. So that was our reaction to Tablo and RM Stop the Rain. Thanks for watching and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.